Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Nanthakumar, Assistant Professor, Department of English in Easwari Engineering College. In this video, I'm going to give a small input regarding the interview techniques. As we know that current job market is very tough. To getting a job is not that much easy. Whereas interview process is kind of a very first and important steps to crack to get a job. There are lots of myth, there are lots of false beliefs there regarding interviews. So in this video, we are going to discuss what are the reality and what are the false alarm regarding interviews. When it comes to the interview, most people believe that it is the place to check knowledge, place to check their communication skills. Maybe, but the very important thing is the purpose of interview is to check characters, confidence, and attitude of a candidate. So this is a very basic thing. You just try to understand before you go for an interview. The purpose of the interview serves both employees as well as the candidate. Whereas employees, they may get a good candidate, whereas in a candidate, they may get a good company as well as a good job. Most people believe that the interview starts while they're sitting in a hot seat. No, it is not. The interview starts where far ahead before. Before even you prepare a resume, the interview starts. Before even you prepare a resume, you should know about the company. So you have to do some research. Through the research, you should know about the company, the purpose of the interview, and the nature of the work, and what really they're looking for. So these things you should understand. These things you should know before even you prepare a resume. Based on the requirement alone, you have to prepare your resume. Then you just try to understand the nature of the work. You have to match your skills, your ability to the nature of the job. So you just try to understand what are the things what the interviewer or the employer really looking for. So that you should know. What really we need is practice. Most people, they sound really good in technical things, but when it comes as an interview, on the spot, when they're sitting in the hot seat, usually they get scrambled, they get struck. Why? Because lack of practice. So before you go for an interview, it may be any interview, you have to do a lot of practice. You just go and surf the internet, you'll get thousands of questions, tons and tons of questions you may get. So just go through the important or frequently asked interview questions. Based on your resume, based on your job requirement, you should answer it. So you have to do a lot of practice. Maximum the questions are same. You don't find that much difference when it comes to the questions, but you should know what are the correct answer you have to tell, because the answers may change. So just try to understand the questions, just try to grab the gist of the questions, then come up with your own answer. And it comes as a behavioral questions. For example, in an interview, you may tell that you're good at team or you're good at leadership, something. You can tell something, behavioral answers. So when it comes to these things, definitely they'll ask you to justify these things. For example, if you say you are good at team, they ask you how to justify that. How could you know these things? Then you should tell some clarity, or you should some behavioral answers. So what are the situations you should know or you can come to know about your qualities? Just describe the background of the situation. And in the particular situation, what are the tasks, what are the challenges, what are the responsibility you had? What are the actions you have taken to solve the challenges, to overcome the responsibilities, these things. So because of your actions, what are the results you have attained? So these things you should tell while come up with the behavioral questions. Definitely, when you present yourself, especially in the self-intro, introduce yourself in the questions, you should be very careful what are the words utter your word. So that should be very important. As you know that when it comes to the communication, there are two types as they a verbal communication and non-verbal communication. When it comes to non-verbal communication is one of the very key to unlock the interview techniques. Like for example, maintain a good eye contact, give them a firm handshake, sit with a confident posture. Of course, most people, they don't understand the reality, the importance of sitting posture in the interview. You should sit with the confidence. At the same time, it should not offend the employer. So there are lots of things there. Of course, within a 2 or 3 minute video, we cannot cover all those things. But at least I tell you the basic and the important things alone. Then smile appropriately. Smile. It gives them a pleasant thing. So these things you should maintain when it comes to the non-verbal communication. Soft skills, one of the very important, and it's a vast area actually. We have to discuss about a lot of things in the soft skills, but when it comes to at times we'll discuss. Then in the modern days, most interviews, people are offering candidates to ask a few questions. They're offering a chance, but most people, they fail to, because though they have a lot of things in their mind, but they don't know what to ask in the proper situation. So you should be ready for that. When you got a chance to ask a question to the employer, you should ask. At the same time, please be careful that you ask fruitful, meaningful questions. You should not ask kind of what is the timing, or you should not talk about vacations. You should not talk about leaves and at all. It has to be a meaningful question. It has to be a fruitful questions, because this is kind of a behavioral test. So what are the questions you may ask? For example, you may ask, what are the training we may get as a fresher? What are the training we may get in a company? Or you may ask, how do you define a success in a particular position? What are the current team challenges? So something like something meaningful questions that you may ask. Handling difficult or unexpected questions. It is not like always you got an answer with you. Sometimes you may, sometimes you may not. So don't hesitate to accept you don't know the answer. Be honest. If you're not sure about the answer, you just tell them, I don't know a correct answer, but at the same time, you should tell them, if you got a chance, you should learn and you come up with the answers. Because with the time you say you don't know, the very next time you have to tell that I don't know, but at the same time, I got a chance. If I got a time, definitely I'll go through it and I try to find the solution. So this is how we have to come up with the answers. Okay. So interview is a learning opportunity for growth. There are 3 P's there: preparation, practice, and a positive attitude. So these 3 P's are very important to crack interview and get a job. So prepare effectively, practice consistently, and then maintain positive attitude. So these 3 P's help you to crack an interview.